JBN, we keep you informed. 1 dead, 3 held, following shootout with cops in St. James. 1 man was fatally shot, and 3 others arrested by police during a reported shootout in sections of St. James on Monday. According to the police, a gun, a .38 pistol, loaded with 6 rounds, was confiscated during the incident that unfolded on Mango Walk Boulevard in the parish. Reports are that about 6:30 p.m., men who are from a Kingston address were at an apartment in the mentioned area when a team of police went to the location. During the raid, the men reportedly engaged the police in a shootout, it's reported. A police source claimed that 1 unidentified man was fatally shot during the confrontation. 3 other persons were taken into custody. St. Thomas truck driver survives gun attack. A truck driver is counting his blessings after surviving a gun attack that was carried out by hoodlums in a section of Morant Bay, St. Thomas, early on Saturday morning. The man, whose identity is being withheld, remains hospitalized in stable condition. Preliminary reports are that sometime after 12 a.m., the driver was returning home and was pounced upon by armed men who opened gunfire, hitting him. The man's licensed firearm was reportedly stolen by his attackers before they fled the scene. The wounded man was later assisted to the hospital where he was admitted for treatment. The St. Thomas police have since commenced a probe into the shooting incident. Another man shoots himself dead. The Lucy police have commenced an investigation into the death of a man who reportedly committed suicide with the use of an illegal gun at his home in Elgin Town, Hanover, on Saturday morning. Roger Brown, 26, a laborer of Binns Lane, is the second person to commit suicide in the Lucy area in 2020. A resident of the community who gave his name only as Bigger recalled Brown as a very quiet youth, but said that he noticed that the young man had become withdrawn in recent times. We noticed him dey drop in him shell, and we hear him depressed, but none of we don't know what caused it, Bigger said. Him left all him family them in a stress and shock, because nobody never expect him to do something like that. Reports are that about 1:40 a.m. on Saturday, Brown was at home with other family members when relatives heard loud explosions coming from his bedroom. They rushed to investigate and discovered Brown lying on the floor of the room with a gunshot wound to his upper body. Further checks of the scene led to the discovery of a 9mm pistol along with a magazine containing 8 live rounds. A few days prior to Brown's suicide, a man hanged himself inside his mother's house in the neighboring community of Jericho, shortly after being ordered by his partner to leave her home. The deceased is 32-year-old Ennis Malcolm, otherwise called Negus or Pang, an electrician, was reportedly said to have been on bail and had been ordered to not visit the community of Jericho. Malcolm had moved in with his girlfriend in Malcolm Heights, Lucy. Reports are that he became jealous of her relationship with her baby father, which soured the partnership. She eventually put him out. About 8 a.m. last Tuesday, relatives found his body inside a room at his mother's house with a sheet tied to a windowsill and his neck in a noose. Gun seized on Grantsman Drive, St. Andrew. The Constant Spring police seized a Ruger 9mm pistol on Grantsman Drive, St. Andrew during an operation on Monday. It is reported that between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m., a team was in the area and a search operation conducted when the gun was found in the vicinity of a playing field. No one was taken into custody in connection with the seizure. JCF to train members to handle domestic violence reports. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, says it will be placing greater emphasis on training and educating members of the force and other stakeholders to recognize and handle domestic violence-related matters in keeping with legislation. Our officers in the JCF understand that domestic violence is one of those activities that can lead to major crimes, and early intervention is necessary to save lives, the JCF said in a statement yesterday afternoon. The JCF's statement follows the murder of 2 women on Sunday by their partners, one of whom was a member of the security forces. The JCF called the issue of domestic violence a persistent problem that has negatively impacted Jamaica's crime statistics. As such, it urged residents to utilize the domestic violence intervention centers that were established to deal with all cases of domestic dispute. Contact the Domestic Violence Intervention I-Care Centers, Constant Spring at 876-702-5120 or 876-702-5121. Matilda's Corner at 876-978-6003 or the nearest police station. We can't take it no more. Over recent days, people living to the west of the Bone Dry, Jaquan Iron and Steel Company, JISCO Alpart, Bauxite Alumina Waste, Redmud Lake at Myersville have been driven to the edge of despair by clouds of contaminated dust carried on the wind. In the community of Warminster, in the foothills of the Santa Cruz Mountains, overlooking the Mud Lake, the picture was evident of wave after wave of dust lifting on the wind and sweeping towards the communities above. "We don't know what to do," one woman complained. Residents told of their water harvest from rain and stored in large concrete tanks being spoiled by the dust, of crops being ruined, and the sinus-related illnesses affecting children and adults. One farmer told of 4 of his goats had developed running belly and died after eating grass covered in the poisonous dust. "We are on the verge. Humans next," he said. Bad as it was yesterday, residents said it was worse last Friday and Saturday, with the whole place dark under clouds of dust extending, they claim, as far away as Malvern at the top of the Santa Cruz Mountains. At the entrance to the JISCO Alpart plant in Nain, protesters who had gathered since early morning to insist the Chinese owners act to correct the situation waited patiently for the representatives who had gone to meet with management. After close to 2 hours, leaders including Member of Parliament for St. Elizabeth Southeastern Frank Witter for the Jamaica Labour Party, Councillor Leighton Smith, People's National Party, Myersville Division, and head of the Alpart Community Council, Len Blake, came out to report that progress had been made. JISCO, they said, have agreed to revive a scheme to evaluate and compensate for damaged crops, etc., to provide medical care, and to send truckloads of drinking water to residents. That arrangement, they said, will resume today. The long-standing arrangement was apparently suspended when bauxite alumina production was shut down at JISCO Alpart late last year. That shutdown, which left more than 1,000 people without jobs, was intended to allow a 2-year-long major rehabilitation of the more than 50-year-old alumina plant, considered among the world's least efficient. Witter said JISCO representatives had also given the assurance that a process of biosuppression, along with traditional wetting, using large volumes of water, was being used to combat the rising dust. The long-term solution, said Witter, was for families in the path of the wind-blown dust to be relocated. When that will be, no one seemed to know. More than 100 families were on the original list from several years ago to be relocated, Witter said. Yesterday, locals were adamant that after years of eating pollution during alumina production, and even when the Alpart plant is closed, as is the case now, enough is enough. People want to be moved out of this nasty mess. We can't take it no more, one man shouted. Councillor Smith voiced an overriding worry. If the dust was as bad as it was in mid-January, early in the usual annual dry spell, what going to happen in February, when the drought really set in and the wind get stronger? Holness blames PMP for extradition rumors. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has broken his silence on the recent speculations that the United States government had requested the extradition of senior members of his government. In a tweet after the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica stated in writing that the rumors are false, Holness rebuked members of the opposition People's National Party PMP, who he blamed for the rumors. According to social media posts, the U.S. had requested the extradition of ministers including Darrell Vance, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, with responsibility for land, environment, and climate change. The rumors persisted despite Vance in a radio interview denying that he was the subject of any extradition request. Following the embassy's own tweet on the matter, Holness said, "The PMP operatives who have been carrying rumors and fake news should know that the era of social media is not just for those who would seek to use it negatively, more so. It is a tool for transparency, clarity, and integrity." Earlier, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Camilla Johnson-Smith, also tweeted a response to the embassy's tweet. She said, Many thanks for your clarification. Much appreciated. Social media speculation has been rife about possible legal challenges since the U.S. revoked the visas of Vaz and his wife, Anne-Marie, along with PNP Vice President Philip Paulwell. It was also said then that visas for a number of police personnel and a few prominent business persons had also been revoked. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.